It's going to be on Oxygen. You check your local listings.
Oxygen 10 p.m. Eastern.
10 p.m.
Yeah.
Eastern on the 14th.
On the 14th, January 14th, Monday.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, all three cameras are rolling. Good. All right, quiet on set, and
Oh, you know
everyone's
what? I'm
set.
confusing it with the finale. It's 8 p.m., not 10 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern. I was like, that sounds wrong. Thank you.
Hold, let everyone settle. Deep breath. Start whenever you're ready there.
Oxygen's 2-hour documentary, Dirty John, The Dirty Truth, follows the true story of a successful businesswoman, Deborah Newell, who joined a dating site looking for love, but what she found instead was a violent con artist named John Meehan. Joining me today is behavioral analyst Laura Richards, who's going to talk to us about psychopaths, how they get away with what they're doing, and the women that join them. Welcome today.
Thank you for having me on.
You have a fascinating pedigree. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I started work at New Scotland Yard in 1996, and I spent 10 years profiling and analysing serious crime. And within that serious crime, I put domestic violence, because that's where women and girls tend to be murdered. And I created a risk model to identify the warning signs, the danger signs, where there's escalation, and cases that could escalate to serious harm and murder.
And you were very involved in this documentary and in real life with this case, because you know Deborah and she contacted you while a lot of the stuff was happening. Could you take us through what happened with this particular case?
Yeah, Deborah's friend reached out to me actually. She was British and said, "My goodness, you describe Deborah as if you know her. How do you do that?" And then she played Deborah, the podcast where I've been describing on Real Crime Profile characteristics of coercive control and behavioural profiling of the case. And Deborah said she really wanted to meet me. So that's really how our relationship started. She was trying to make sense of what happened to her. Because of course this wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. She went on a dating site, like many people do when they're trying to find love. And she met a man on that site, and right from the beginning when she started to meet him, she started being controlled by him. So there was a lot of that happening early on. What is coercive control? What is coercive control? What does that mean?
Yeah, she did meet him on an online dating site, and I'll talk about online dating specifically. But when I listened to the first episode of the podcast Dirty John, just before interviewing Chris Goffard, what I did hear about was, there was a murder, we didn't know who it was, but then I heard Deborah come on and say, well, I wanted to find love again. This guy, John Meehan, he sounded too good to be true. And that was the first flag for me.
Right.
Because when people are too good to be true, that's normally, it is too good to be true.
Well, he claimed he was a doctor, owned multiple homes, very successful. He was handsome and fit, and he really just tried to sweep her off her feet. Is that what you mean by too good to be true?
Yeah, and as she said, when I first met him, he was so charming. He was so into me. He asked me all these questions, and he was so attentive. Risk, risk, risk,
Yes.
risk. Charm is a risk factor. Charm disarms. So it's a decision to charm. It's not a trait. It's not innate in us. We make that decision. Normally when we charm, we want to increase our likability. So the things that she was saying, and then the first date he took me back to my penthouse and he jumped on my bed and it made me feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Warning sign. That's what I wrote down when I was listening to it. Why did it make her feel so uncomfortable? Well, he's out of the script of her comfortability. It was too familiar. He was saying how comfortable the bed was. And that's when she ejected him, because she knew something wasn't right. So her gut instinct was right. But he calls up the next day, he apologises profusely, he wiggles his way back in. Deborah being so nice, and although her instinct's telling her one thing, she lets it be overwritten by her heart. I'll give him another chance.
And isn't this kind of what we were talking about? There's a little crack in that armor. We want to be loved. We want to feel loved. So if somebody comes along and you're desperately looking for a relationship and they kind of do these things like being attentive, is that a sign that people should be worried about?
Well, here's the thing. Deborah wasn't desperate by any means. I want to make that clear. But when we all look for love, we make ourselves vulnerable. It doesn't matter what age you are. If you're going on online dating or if you're dating, you share a lot of information about yourself. And when you're looking for love, you really want to have a match. And so that's why you tell someone far more information than you ever would a complete stranger.
Yeah.
That's the vulnerability point. Now, someone like John, who was on multiple dating sites targeting women of a particular type, Deborah fitted his profile, and of course she's incredibly nice, sees the good in everybody, and unfortunately she, is somebody who could be easily exploited and easily manipulated. And so the coercive control, he started his charm offensive, this was his tradecraft, and he did everything that he understood that she knew, what she had told him, but that she wanted in a lover and partner.
So he became what she needed
Absolutely.
in order to charm her and disarm her.
That's the coercive control. It's not always about someone threatening somebody. John basically had a range of tactics, as most perpetrators do, that then match to the victim. It's very specific and idiosyncratic to that victim. So in the Bravo show, you see him making the smoothies, running her shower. He made her life much better, as she saw it, increased her sort of potential as a human being. It's only after he had isolated her, and then she was challenging him, and her daughters were, that he started to become more sinister and threatened because he didn't want to lose control. So coercive control, we know with domestic abuse, it's not just about physical abuse. Coercive control is about the psychological behaviour, the manipulation, the deception, the exploitation of
And
someone.
what are some of these traits that you are able to talk to us about?
Well, I'm saying, coercive control is a pattern of behaviour, so it happens over